So let's talk about something that's both terrifying and honestly pretty fascinating. All the scientifically plausible ways our world could actually end. And I mean, for real, forget what you've seen in the movies for a second. We're not talking zombies or some big alien invasion. Nope. We're talking about real scientifically plausible risks that could just wipe the slate clean. See, this isn't just Hollywood stuff. The universe is a really dynamic, sometimes pretty violent place. And our own planet? It's got some immense power just simmering below the surface. These aren't just wild what-ifs. They're possibilities grounded in actual physics, geology, and astronomy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to explore these 9 paths, starting way out in the vastness of deep space, and then we're going to bring it closer and closer, right down to the dangers we've created ourselves. It's going to be quite a trip. All right, first up, the big ones, the cosmic threats from way, way out there. These are events on a scale that's, well, it's almost impossible to really wrap your head around. Okay, so what is a gamma ray burst? Imagine all the energy our sun will produce over its entire 10 billion year life. Now imagine all of that released in just a few seconds. Yeah, that's a gamma ray burst. It's basically the universe's ultimate death ray. And the scale here is just staggering. We're talking about a burst that could happen thousands of light years away and still be catastrophic if it's pointed right at us. It would just shred our ozone layer, leaving us completely exposed to all that deadly radiation from our own sun. Now, a little closer to our neighborhood, we've got supernova, the explosive death of a massive star. If one of these were to happen relatively close by, it could just flood our entire solar system with enough radiation to strip away our atmosphere and basically sterilize the whole planet. Okay, now for something a little different. A rogue planet. The scary thing here is it doesn't even have to hit us to destroy everything. These are basically cosmic wanderers, just drifting alone through the dark. So if one of these massive things just passed through our solar system, its gravity alone could be enough to yank Earth right out of its nice, stable orbit. We could get flung into the sun or shot out into the freezing cold of deep space. Either way you slice it, it's game over. All right, let's reel it in a bit. We're coming out of the deep cosmos and right into our own celestial backyard. What are the dangers lurking closer to home? So in our neighborhood, we've got 2 very different kinds of threats. On one hand, you've got the classic, dinosaur killer, a giant rock from space causing physical annihilation. But on the other hand, you have a much more modern nightmare, an event that attacks the very technology our entire civilization is built on. Our sun, right? It's mostly our friend, gives us life and all that. But sometimes it can throw a massive cosmic tantrum. A huge solar storm, what's called a coronal mass ejection, could send a wave of supercharged particles hurtling straight for us. And just think about what that means. No power grids, no GPS, no internet. This wouldn't just be a blackout for a few hours. We're talking a complete shutdown of the modern world. It could send us back to the dark ages in, an instant. We always seem to look up at the skies for danger. But some of the most profound threats, they're right here, coming from the Earth itself, right beneath our feet. Okay, think about a place like Yellowstone National Park. Beautiful, right? Well, underneath it lies a slumbering giant. A supervolcano isn't just a bigger version of a regular volcano. It is a full-on, planet-altering event just waiting to happen. The eruption itself, devastating for sure. But the real killer is the chain reaction that happens next. A massive cloud of ash would shoot into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun. This triggers what's called a volcanic winter. Global temperatures could drop by 5 degrees Celsius. That's about 9 degrees Fahrenheit, which would cause crops to fail everywhere. We're talking mass starvation on a global scale. And then there's our planet's invisible shield, its magnetic field. It's constantly protecting us, deflecting all this harmful radiation from the sun and deep space. But what if it suddenly collapsed or flipped? Our planet would be totally exposed to a constant, deadly bombardment. And now we turn to the final, and maybe the most unsettling category of all, the existential threats that we have created entirely on our own. This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? From the byproducts of our civilization, like climate change, to the weapons from our conflicts, and even the ambitions of our technology. These are the risks we've made for ourselves. The logic behind a nuclear winter is just terrifyingly simple. It's basically the same idea as a supervolcano, but completely man-made. The firestorms from all those bombs would kick up so much smoke and soot into the atmosphere that it would literally block out the sun. The planet would freeze, and the very foundation of the food chain would just collapse. And finally, we're at the very frontier of our own creations. Now, this is still theoretical, but the idea of an artificial intelligence, or maybe self-replicating nanotechnology, that we can't control, it poses a risk so profound, it's actually hard to even wrap our minds around it. So, there you have it. We've journeyed from the absolute edge of the universe right back to the heart of our own civilization. We've seen how threats can come from light years away, from our own star, from our own planet, and from our own hands. The cosmic threats, they remind us just how fragile we are in this vast, vast universe. But the threats we make ourselves, well, they force us to ask a totally different kind of question. It's not just about survival anymore. It's about wisdom. What do we do with all this knowledge and all this power?